Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Evolving Activist. I'm Lauren Morn, and today I wanted to have a chat with you about impact. It's come up a few times this week, actually, this idea of, can I have the impact that I want to have where I am now, or doing what I'm doing now? And it's something that also came up for me, when I left my corporate career, was this concern that I wasn't going to be able to have as much impact as I had been, working for a big multinational, earning lots of money, getting my donations and my volunteer hours matched so that basically doubled my contribution to anything. And then going out on my own and becoming a solopreneur with an inconsistent income, sometimes no income, and not being able to make those big donations, or not being able to spare the amount of time that I had when I had a set schedule. And so I grappled with that as well. Can I have the impact that I want to have? Like, the whole point of leaving my corporate career was so that I could have a more direct impact. And that's really what it comes down to, isn't it? It's yes, you can have the impact you want to have where you are now, or doing what you're doing now. It just may not look like what you think it's going to look like. And that's a big thing. Sometimes we have these ideas of, I must go and, save the world. I must, these grandiose ideas. And sometimes maybe what you need to be doing is just what you're doing right now, and having the impact that you're having right now. I call it the Mozarts piano teacher effect. And I've spoken about this before, but one of my first ever equine coaching sessions was with a beautiful horse called Shadow. And what we were talking about was my desire to make a difference in the world, and my frustration and shame at feeling that I wasn't making a difference. And my coach, my human coach, was so wise when she asked me the question. She said, if your job right now were bussing tables at a fast food restaurant, and somebody was eating there and choked on their food, and because you were there bussing tables, you were able to rush over and give them the Heimlich maneuver and save their life. And that person then went on to be the person who invented something world-changing or cured cancer, right? Would you feel like your life had not been of impact if you knew that person whose life you saved had gone on to do all these things because of the fact that you saved their life? Would you then still be thinking, I'm not the one who's made the impact? And that story, that question has stayed with me, because who remembers the person who taught the genius? Nobody remembers them. Nobody gives them the accolades. But would that genius have been where they went, have gone where they went, without that teacher, without that mentor, without that parent, without that friend, without that someone who kindled a flame inside them, without that someone who taught them something really important, without that someone who encouraged them at a time that they needed it most? Who are we to know that our signature on a petition isn't the one signature that tips it over into a number that actually means something to the people being petitioned? Who are we to know that one thing we share on social media isn't what has somebody think and change their entire life choice? So sometimes we get so caught up in quantifying our impact. Oh, well, I could give this much money, or I volunteered this many hours, or I touched, that I can see I touched this many lives. And that's not always what we get to know. We don't always get to know the scope of our impact. And I thought that was really something that I'd like to encourage people to do, is to release your attachment to what you think it should be and explore what it could be instead. Really kind of think about, first of all, being able to let go of the need to quantify, being able to let go of the need to validate your worth by saying, I directly was able to have this impact. Because you're not going to know everything. You're not going to know the impact that you've had on everybody's life that you've touched. It may be far, far greater than you think. Maybe because I went out by myself, I've been able to have a more direct impact on specific lives. Maybe as a result of that, those lives have gone on to do bigger and better things than they would have otherwise. So is it because you work on a product that 1 billion people use? Or is it because you changed one life who then may go on to change 1 billion? You don't know. What you do need to know is what feels true to you. What feels aligned with your values. And that's an important piece of the puzzle, right? Do you have values that you are not respecting by trying to honor another value? So let's say, for example, you have a value of making a difference or having an impact. What if that conflicts or contradicts with your value of I need stability, and therefore I'm going to stay in my corporate job and not go out on my own? How do you reconcile them? Are there creative ways that you can do that? Can you honor all your values, all your top values? And I think, yes, you can. And the critical thing to do is to let go of your attachment to a story that you think is the one, the path. What I'm thinking of is, what's a different way to look at it? What are some other ways that you can make an impact where you are? Make an impact at what you're doing or through what you're doing? How can you encourage that different perspective? Maybe it's taking a walk somewhere that you don't normally walk. Maybe it's going and spending some time in nature. Maybe it's brainstorming with a friend or mentor. Maybe it's working with a coach or a therapist. Maybe it's reading something that you're not used to reading. Either way, my invitation to you is to think about not how absolute an impact I can make, but what's the best impact that I can make here and now, where I am, doing what I'm doing, being who I am. It may be bigger than you think. And if you're ever interested in exploring this with me, let me know. This is right up my alley. I love these kinds of coaching sessions. And if somebody you know needs to hear this message right now, please tag them or share this with them. You don't get to know everything that you impact. It may be so much more than you think. Please don't give up. Don't denigrate your efforts. Know that what you're doing might be exactly what you should be doing. But explore. Be curious about what you could be doing as well. I'll leave that for you to chew on. I hope you're having a wonderful day or evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you on the flip side.